You know, the more I think about it, really think about it, the more I think about China and the more I think about the way China makes kids knit together sweaters and make iPhones and make shoes and make cheap Temu products, the more I think maybe China has it all figured out. Maybe child labor is the way to boost up our economics. Maybe making small children pierce their hands with sewing machines is the way to move forward. No, I'm just kidding. But school is literally prison, bro. And I'm talking about all the way from elementary to high school. And if you have any doubts about that, if you're like, no, school's great, for one, just compare the cafeterias, bro. Look at a school cafeteria and then look at a prison cafeteria. It's almost the same thing. And then if you want to get a little deeper, bro, you got cliques, bro. You got cliques in prison for sure, bro. You got the gringos, and then you got the cartels, then you got the mafia, then you got the, I don't know, dude, you got the gangs. You got the gangs. But yeah, dude, it's kind of the same way. A lot of the time, kids will section themselves off in schools, bro. And just looking at the cafeterias next to each other is like, it feels a little dystopian, bro. They're both eating probably similar food. They're both just shitty food. But whatever, bro. So, yeah, dude, school. You go to school for what, like 10, 12, 15 years, and you finally come out of high school, and it's just like, it kicks you off into the real world. School, like, it's like, oh, it prepares you for the real world. School is what helps you get ready for the real world, and it's what helps you get ready to become a man, to grow up and become a man. And it's like, what's something from school that actually helped you progress in the real world? Like, arguably, I guess some of the only things school teaches you is history a little bit, but at the same time, I think the way school teaches history is super skewed and it's pushing an idea. And math obviously will help you out, but at some point you're like putting together numbers, and then you got letters, and then you're just putting it all together, and it's like, okay, how does A equal X? And it's like, bro, I don't know. Tell me how to do my taxes. And everybody gets out of school and it's like, how do you do your taxes? I don't know. Just pay somebody to do it. Have your accountant family member do it for you. It's like, bro, you come out of school really not knowing shit. You don't know shit about the world. Seriously, you really don't know anything about the world coming out of school. You don't really ever have any idea of like where to go. And the thing is, I feel like people are just so dumb. Like sometimes, like I said, bro, because I pointed out the history is like painting an idea, kind of. I'm not going to say too much because there's a lot of skewed things about history you kind of get taught. And like I said, I think it's pushing a certain narrative. But the thing is, I'll say that, and then people will be like, no, history is history, like all this stuff. But then it's like, bro, that same person probably has said in their life, like, bro, school doesn't teach us anything. But now whenever it comes to a certain topic, it's like, just pick and choose, bro. How many kids come out of school saying like, yeah, it didn't teach me anything? Probably everybody, bro. It was like a prison up until like middle school or maybe even high school, bro. They make you walk in straight lines with your hand behind your back, put a bubble in your mouth. If you talk in the class, the teacher's going to move your stick to red, and now your parents are going to beat your ass because you talked in class. Like, bro, the best thing you can do probably in classes, ignore the teacher and talk to your friends. That's the best way to get at least some sort of life experience out of school, is meeting people, bro. Meeting people, talking to people, and ignoring the fuck out of the teacher, out of the authority, especially if the teacher is a jackass. Now, don't get me wrong, bro. There's a bunch of cool teachers. I've had a bunch of cool teachers, but I've also had a bunch of bitch ass teachers. And it makes you question, like, bro, how do these people even get a job as a teacher? If you hate being around kids, if you hate your job as a teacher, if you don't like putting up with kids, bro, like, just don't be a teacher. Why would you go into that career? And honestly, I think a lot of this can be solved through the government, bro, because they just need to crack down on the schooling system. And I know saying that, it's kind of like, it doesn't really sound great, to be honest, in my head, but at the same time, like, bro, I think teachers, for one, it needs to be way harder to be a teacher, because some people are just ass. Some teachers are terrible. It needs to be way harder to be a teacher, but at the same time, it needs to pay way more. If it were to pay like a good, because teachers are not getting paid, bro. So if you were to pay teachers way more, you would have way more people wanting to be teachers. But then if you like, you have with all these people trying to be teachers, just make it way harder, like way harder to be a teacher. Go through like tests, make sure they're like good people, make sure they're not there like screaming at the kids, and like they have to have some sort of charisma, bro, with the kids. And then whenever they go through this hard process of becoming a teacher, it'll be worth it, bro, because it will pay so much more. But yeah, that's kind of my take, bro. And I'm not a genius. I don't know how that would happen, but it just got me thinking, bro. So letting a kid sit there and sleep in class, or letting a kid sit there and do nothing except just like fail and not pay attention to the teacher, I mean, sure, some people come out on top, perfect grades, perfect everything. They come out and now they got like a free ride to Harvard or some shit. You know, good for them, bro. That's the 1%. 99% of people, the best thing they get from school is friends. The best thing they get from school is just social skills, pretty much just talking to other people. I mean, doesn't it feel kind of dystopia? You got to sit down and take a star test or whatever for actual 3 or 4 hours, and then that's like determining your worth as a person almost. If you know like 5 plus 5 or you know some English, like obviously you need basic knowledge, but a lot of basic knowledge just comes from like honestly the smaller grades are giving you basic knowledge, like how to talk and how to read and write and do math and all this stuff, basic history. But at the same time, I don't really understand teaching a 10-year-old history. They don't know how the world works. You're teaching a 10-year-old how like Hitler is the worst person ever, but they don't even know what a country is, bro. I feel like it's just kind of skewed. That's not me defending Hitler, but it's like, I mean, this kid doesn't know. This kid doesn't care, really. This kid doesn't know what a country is. He doesn't know what a state is. He doesn't know how the world works. He doesn't know what continents are, bro. I feel like they need to kind of lay that out. And maybe they do, bro. Maybe some classes do, but me, I did not get that laid out to me. And history, I feel like I never really got taught anything in history. I mean, I got taught a little bit, but I just thought it was kind of interesting how it never got brought up in history, how the Russians helped us in the Civil War. They helped the North. They literally had Russian soldiers helping fight in the North to make sure the South doesn't win. They had Russian soldiers making sure while America's having this intense civil war, they're making sure other countries like European countries don't come over and try to take back America. You don't really get taught about really anything. I mean, there's a couple things here and there, but it's like, bro, from the time you're like 5 to the time you're like basically 18, all history class really screams in your face is like the Holocaust. And like, don't get me wrong, bro, it's an atrocity. But at the same time, it's like, bro, there's so much more to history than just a 5-year time span 80 years ago. There's so many genocides. There's the rape of Nanking or Nanjing, however you say it. That, I think my teacher was going off subject, but he was going out of the curriculum, but he was telling us some crazy shit. But I didn't really know how bad it was until I actually did like research on my own outside of school, like recently, bro. I've already been out of school for a while now. And I'm not sure, maybe school touches on Rwanda, but you know, learning that when I'm like 12 doesn't really have the same impact on my like head versus learning about Rwanda when I'm 20. Especially the fact that this happened in the 90s. It's like, bro, like when you're little, you don't really pick up on things like that. But when you're a little bit older and you can kind of process stuff, you're like, oh, wow, it's kind of fucked up. But yeah, I'm kind of straying off point here. The point is, I mean, seriously, hear me out. Would our kids actually be better off if you put them in a factory for, I don't know, an hour max? Put them in and they get paid. So kids can get paid, all right? They're getting money. Like, kids always want, oh, I want this, I want that in the store. It's like, bro, you got to work for that. Not like some allowance they get for washing the dishes. Like, sit there, make a shoe for an hour, then you get paid. And then that's kind of teaching you at a young age, like, okay, this is what I'm going to have to do for a living whenever I'm actually like 25. You know, I'm going to have to actually find a job. And from a young age, they're going to be like, oh, I've been working like all my life. You know, I can do this. But no, it's that versus putting them in school for all this time, teaching them nothing, and then kicking them out to the real world. And, you know, people's life can vary. So you can get out of school and you could go become a crack addict, homeless person on the side of the street, or you become a millionaire. But it's like everything that millionaire did that the crack addict didn't, everything that millionaire, all the knowledge of the millionaire or whatever, if it wasn't handed to him, or like he built his own business or whatever, did he learn that at school? No, he probably did that on his own, bro. He probably did research on his own. And yeah, if we're being real, school, obviously everybody kind of knows it. I'm not saying school is a prison, but it is just preparing you, not for the real world, but it's teaching you how to not be a lion, bro. It's teaching you how to not go after what you want. It's teaching you, oh, if you talk out of line, oh, slap on the wrist or whatever. Or we're going to tell your parents. We're going to tell the authorities on you. Or it's like, oh, do this. These are your tasks. Here's your homework. That's your task. Come back tomorrow, have it done. You know, and then you sit down for 8 hours, do what you're told. Then you're free to go, you know, spend your time at home jerking off or whatever. And in a way, it's not preparing you like how to go get a job. It's just preparing you like, yeah, just be a good boy and play your part in the system. It's teaching you how to be complacent. It's killing your creativity, bro. It's telling you like, yeah, if you walk the lonely route, if you go your own route, you're probably going to fail. You're going to become homeless, crack addict, bro. You're going to be doing meth, shooting up drugs. If you walk your own route, you need to go the school route. You need to get out of school and then what? Work retail forever, or, you know, go to college, get a piece of paper that may or may not help you. It's taming you, bro. That's what it's doing. School tames you. And then whenever you're tamed, it just kicks you out to the world. Like, okay, he's tamed now, so we can kick him out. And, you know, maybe he'll make something of himself. Maybe he doesn't. That's why I think, yeah, school doesn't teach you anything. It really is down to the person. that person actually has like the goal, has the nuts. He has his scrotum intact and he actually wants to go out there. Does he want to grab what he wants in life? Or does he just want to, sit back forever and never do anything, never walk his own route, walk the route that was prepared for him by school? Because that's what it feels like, bro. Anyone who actually tries in school, it's like almost a scare tactic. Like, yeah, like school is the way, knowledge is the way, college is the way. And if you don't do that, there's no future for you. There's nothing. There's no future. And it's like, bro, would my time actually be better spent learning about biology? I mean, maybe biology is kind of important. I would agree, but certain lab experiments or whatever, or all the little things that are minute and don't matter. Like social studies when I'm 6, you're teaching me about religions, and it's like, bro, I don't even really know what a religion is. I don't know what other people are, bro. I only know people in America and what it is growing up in this class. I don't know. I can my sixth grade mind can't wrap its head around it. Would my time actually be better spent in there, or would it be cut back on a little bit of school time, teach me a little bit more important stuff, a little bit more maybe broad stuff, or maybe a little bit more like relevant stuff, and then cut back on school time a little bit, and then introduce me to a factory at a very young age, make me become a laborer at a child, all right, where I'll be a child laboring away in a factory, and then I'll be like at least learning, like, oh, this is what I'm gonna have to put up with in the future for 8 hours, when I'm in there for 30 minutes or an hour, and I get paid a great wage. Also, you could probably afford to pay kids a way higher wage because they're working less hours, doing the work nobody wants to do, like knitting shirts together, and then pay the same job a little bit less to like an 18-year-old, as soon as they turn 18, I guess, because it's like, oh, we're not going to pay you as much because little Billy over here, he's 10 and he's doing the same job as you. You need to go somewhere else, do another job. I don't know. Yeah, it's all fucked up what I'm saying. I don't think we need child labor, but I think something needs to happen in the schooling system because kids, obviously nobody really gives a I would say most people always hated school, never wanted to be at school, always just, you want to go home or you want to go out and have fun, whatever it is. I would say most people not give a fuck about school. Most people probably spent a lot of school time on their phone or sleeping or talking to their friend or rushing to the work real fast while the teacher is teaching it at a way slower pace and this kid's learning, and then they're done with all the work and then they sleep for the rest of the class. So that's what I did in like half my classes. I don't know, dude. I just feel like it robs you of pretty much the curiosity inside of you. It tells you what's important to learn, go with the flow, follow the authorities rule. Don't talk unless you're spoken to or whatever, or raise your hand to talk, raise your hand to go to the bathroom, raise your hand so make sure you can don't go take a shit or whatever. Do as you're told. Don't have any original ideas. Don't have any curiosity. It's just like, bro, it feels like a prison, bro. And like I said, it comes all the way back to the cafeteria. Like, just looking at these cafeterias next to each other is like, bro, I mean, this is what everybody, is what you have to do or you're a failure. I don't know, bro. I don't even know what the fuck I'm talking about. I don't know. We're just going to end the video off on some advice. And the advice is, bro, if you want to learn some real shit, just go fuck up. Go fuck up in life, bro. I'm not saying like go kill somebody, obviously, but try something and fuck up. Try something and fail. And I know it's kind of probably hard to take advice from like a random ass stranger, but genuinely, bro, if you just fuck up and you fail, that's probably the best way to learn. You get real life experiences. You experience the failing part, and then next time you'll realize like, okay, I failed this once. I know what to do now. Life experience. That's kind of just a fucking given. But yeah, dude, we're gonna call it here.